I have been slacking on creating things. I get home from work and watch YouTube or play Fortnite or scroll reels until I go to bed, instead of doing something fulfilling like 3D modeling or creating something cool. And something I've been wanting to do since I got into 3D modeling is to create my own animation. I've never sat down and put the time into making an animation before, and I think now is a better time than ever. As tempting as it was to jump straight into animating, I first laid out the foundations for my story in the storyboard. I wanted to do Kiryo's morning routine, from the moment he woke up to the moment he starts his day. Using a combination of different scenes, not only would this fit into the 30-second to 1 minute range, but it would also visually represent the quote I had picked. I broke this animation down into 4 scenes, with 7 clips being pieced together to make the final animation. And after I had a clear idea of what I was going to animate, it was time to get down to modeling my scenes. I started modeling my first scene, which would be Kiryo's bedroom with his alarm going off. I created a simple box for the walls, and then I started blocking out a bed, a bedside table, and of course the alarm clock itself. Sticking to the minimalist aesthetic, this is what I came up with. Inspired by Scott's model, which was inspired by Dieter Ram's alarm clock design. To make the bed more realistic, I added Kiryo into the bed. I then, using cloth physics, dropped a blanket on top of him. Nice and snug. Next was animating the alarm clock itself. Animating its x-axis up and down, and then changing the interpolation mode so it was nice and smooth. I got a pretty convincing jump. Using a bit of anticipation, which is the preparatory action taken before an action takes place. Kind of like crouching before you jump. Adding a bit of this and a bit of squash and stretch onto the alarm clock, I was really happy with it. To add to its absurd irritation, I added the time on the front of the clock, which flashed every single time the alarm would jump. I accompanied this with another area light, which I parented to the alarm clock to make the light have more of an effect on the scene. This is it with, this is it without. In showbiz, this is what we call a motivated light. This, with a slow zoom into the alarm clock, made the scene all that more familiar. Using an armature in Kiryo's arm, it was pretty easy to animate to show how irritated he was with the alarm. Cool. Next was the bath scene. I debated whether or not to have him in a shower instead, but I decided a bubble bath with a rubber ducky would be so much more in character for Kiryo. I made a bath with a shower head, a sink, a tap, and this awesome mirror that I actually want in real life. Using armatures, I animated Kiryo's kicking legs as well as a slight head movement just so the scene wasn't totally still. Oh, what's that? I added our friend the rubber ducky coming up for some air. That was good. Sweet. For our teeth brushing scene, I actually had 2 options. I used the same set from the previous shot because I was obsessed with this mirror and I wanted to use it somehow. My first idea was to have the same scene, the same set, the same camera angle, everything, just remove Kiryo from the bath and have him brushing his teeth instead. Now this was cool, but I knew I could do a little bit better. My second idea was to use the same set, but move the camera closer towards the mirror and have Kiryo brushing his teeth. This is what I settled on, but let me know in the comments if I made the right decision. Do you guys remember Zuck before he was cool? When he was wearing the same grey shirt and jeans every single day? Well, essentially Kiryo's the same. I started modeling Kiryo's wardrobe, which was fairly easy, and then I started hanging up blue hoodies across the hanger. I then added Kiryo into the scene and animated his arm so he was separating the hoodies. I added armatures into one of the hoodies so I could animate this sort of flow like it was a piece of clothing. I then duplicated this a few times, flipped it so it was on either side of Kiryo, and it revealed the perfect blue hoodie left in the middle. Using the sculpt menu, I then smushed one of these hoodies down and had Curio trying to squeeze it on top of his head. I would match the scene with an eventual pop, revealing our hero in all his swag. After this, I recycled an animation of a walk cycle I had already made. I added some textures onto the scenes, rendered them out, added some sound effects, and we were done.